One bright morning in 1961, at Hyannis beside the cold sea, after a vigorous game of backgammon, which I won, John F. Kennedy sat back, lit a cigar in the respite before his brother Bobby's arrival from his house within the Kennedy compound. "Your Uncle Lefty Lewis," Jack began. "Not my uncle, but he's Jackie's uncle. He's not her uncle either. He was married to our stepfather's sister, where he got the money to collect Horace Walpole." Marywood. Jack bit his cigar at the thought of that Virginia house from which emerged Jackie and I and a thundering herd, including a myriad of outriders none of us could ever keep straight. Jack liked to call us the little foxes. Anyway, he went on, somebody's uncle, Wilmarth Lewis, spent his life collecting Horace Walpole. He was here the other day, and he said to me about the 18th century, his specialty, that, how do you explain how a sort of backwoods country like this, with only 3 million people, could have produced the three great geniuses of the 18th century, Franklin, Jefferson, and Hamilton? I said, time. They had more of it. They stayed home on the farm in winter. They read, wrote letters, apparently thought, something no longer done in public life. Jack's mind skipped about. You know, in this job, I get to meet everybody, all these great movers and shakers. And the thing I'm most struck by the lot of them is how second-rate they are. Then you read all those debates over the Constitution. Nothing like that now. Nothing. It would be nice if he or I had come to a conclusion that morning so long ago, but we did not. I did note, like John Adams, that our Constitution and laws were deeply grounded in England. Anglo-Saxon attitudes, I said. Jack grunted. Although something of an Anglophile, he was still an Irish Catholic. Maybe it was something in the water, he said helpfully. I wish we had more of it. The water, that is. Then Bobby arrived on cue. The Berlin Wall was going up. I went for a walk on the beach, mildly aware that I was intersecting with history, which has its own tide-like rhythms, unknown to us at the time and forever after, too. Certainly the inventors of our nation would be astonished at what we have done to their handiwork, their reputations as well. 10 days before Thomas Jefferson died, he wrote some notes for the approaching 50th anniversary of his Declaration of Independence. May it be to the world what I believe it will be, the signal of arousing men to burst the chains under which monkish ignorance and superstition had persuaded them to bind themselves, and to assume the blessings and security of self-government. The general spread of the light of science has already laid open to every view the palpable truth that the mass of mankind has not been born with saddles on their backs, nor a favored few booted and spurred, ready to ride them, legitimately by the grace of God. Science. To us, that means total surveillance, electronic devices to track others, weapons of mass, you know what. On July 4, 1826, Jefferson died. For posterity, he wanted to be known as the author of the Declaration of American Independence, the Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedom, and father of the University of Virginia. A few hours later, the dying John Adams in Massachusetts said, "Thomas Jefferson still lives." But Jefferson had already departed. John Adams had his epitaph ready. It was to the point. Here lies John Adams, who took upon himself the responsibility of the peace with France in the year 1800. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us, as the New England hymn of my youth, based on Ecclesiasticus, most pointedly instructed us. Meanwhile, dear Jack, in the 40 years since your murder, I have pondered your question, and this volume is my hardly definitive answer